Good morning, ladybugs. It's very early morning here. It's 5 a.m. right now. I just thought I'd make a video while I eat my toast. I made this jelly a few months ago and it just is so good. It's strawberry jam. Having a tough morning. I find that I'm going to take some pain medicine for my pain. And I find that it works better if you have something in your stomach. So that's why I'm eating. Having a chronic disease, my disease is genetic, so I've had it since birth, but it's gotten worse over the years. It's very difficult. It's just very hard. It can be incredibly depressing. Just the amount of pain that is caused sometimes. I went to bed at like 10 o'clock last night. I actually went to bed early, which is unusual because I usually have trouble sleeping. But I went to bed early because I took some melatonin and I was really trying to get some good sleep last night. And I woke up at about, 10 minutes to 3 or so, just crying out in pain. I mean, I just, like screaming out in pain in my sleep. It's just so hard, I don't think people who don't suffer from a disease that causes chronic pain really understands what it's like, like people have fibromyalgia or something like that where they have overactive nerves. That's a very different kind of pain than dislocating joints. And it's really hard to live with, it's really, really hard to live with. It's hard to live with the pain constantly. And sometimes it's worse than others. But days like today that start out with nothing but pain, it's just so hard. And I get really depressed sometimes. I just feel like sometimes it's so hard to face like another day of pain. You know what I mean? Like, have you guys been there? Just another day of pain, another night of pain, It's very depressing. Because of my condition, my Ehlers-Danlos, I qualify for MAID, which is medical assistance in dying. And sometimes I really think about it, And then I think about my dogs that need me and my children that need me. And I don't make that decision at that moment, but there are times that I really think about it. Sorry, this is kind of a tell-all, like honestly raw video. Sometimes it's just so hard. It's so hard to live with pain that is so intense, that it makes you cry out in your sleep. So where you wake people up, And there's very little you can do about it. You can't do anything about the pain. You can't stop it. All you can do is deal with it as it comes. And sometimes that's easier said than done, People say, keep your spirits up or, keep your chin up or, think about better times. That's so hard when you're in pain, Especially when it's really severe pain. It's just really hard. It's hard to keep going day in and day out, knowing that you're just going to experience more pain. I don't know. I think that it's easy to cast judgment on people and be like, you should do this, or you should do that, or, don't let it get you down. It's easy for people to say that. It's so much harder to live it. You know what I mean? It's hard to live it. It's hard to believe it. And sometimes it's just so depressing. Like today. Today's a depressing day. Today's a hard day. Today's a day I would rather not go on. It started out with massive pain at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's just going to continue with massive pain, most likely. That's how the days go. I probably dislocated my hips while I was sleeping. And that's what caused the massive pain. It's funny because people say you can't feel pain in dreams, which for the most part is true. But what you can feel is pain you're having IRL that is so intense that it crosses over into your dreams. Like at the time I was feeling the pain, I was dreaming. So it seemed like I was feeling pain in my dreams, but really I wasn't. I dreamt that I fell off a balcony or something, and that was causing the pain in my hips. And I know that that's not true, but it's my mind's way of trying to make sense of and justify the pain I'm feeling in real life. Evie, relax. So it's really hard. Sometimes you just don't want to go on. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just want it to be over. But then, there's so many people that count on you when you're a mom and a spouse and a furry mom. And, all right, that came out wrong. Not a furry mom, because not like a furry, but a fur mom, I guess they call it. It's just so intense. And then the pain, when it gets really intense, it sets my system off, and my system kind of goes haywire when it gets really bad. And I start getting hives, which is what I'm getting now. I'm starting to get hives. I'm starting to itch. And that's all a reaction to the pain and my body's inability to function properly. Sometimes it's just so hard to know how to make it through another day. You know what I mean? How do you guys deal with it when you get to that point, if you get to that point? There's only been a few times. There's probably only once or twice a year when I think about the MAID, the MAID. And when I seriously think about it is about once every 2 years. But today is one of those days when I'm thinking, is this worth it? But obviously for my family and my dogs, and I'll go on, I'll push through, but it's so hard. And it's so depressing. Sorry. Sometimes it just hurts so bad, and you can't think of anything else besides the pain. You can't think of anything else. You can't function with anything else, and you just don't want to go on anymore. And it's really hard. It's really difficult. And sometimes, as smart and as positive as I am, sometimes you just don't know what to do. You just don't want to keep going on, like this. I mean, day in and day out, it's just pain, and more pain. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it together. for the video. But I'll take my tea and I'll take a pain pill and I'm going to take a bath and then try to lay back down. But it's hard. It's a hard day today. So hope you guys have a better day than I'm having. Love you, ladybugs. Talk to you later. Put your advice in the comments. I could really use some today. Or some encouragement, just something. Thank you. Bye.